First, the USDA's Justice for All non-discriminatory statement, which simply states that all persons must be treated equally without regard to their race, color, national origin, sex, religious creed, disability, age, political beliefs, or reprisal or retaliation for prior civil rights activity, and that our institution provides an inclusive space for all. For more information on the And Justice for All statement, please visit the USDA's website.
Hi everybody. Hi, my name is Maddie and welcome to this edition of Family Foodie, Tasty Lentil Taco Cooking Demonstration and Brief Discussion on Fiber. Again, my name is Maddie and I am a nutrition educator for New Jersey SNAP-Ed and the Family and Community Health Sciences Department at the Rutgers Cooperative Extension of Mercer County. So happy that you could make it. Let's get into the lesson. All right, so I know you see all these tasty ingredients in front of me and that we're going to be making tasty lentil tacos today. But before we talk about the recipe, I really want to have a discussion about fiber. So first of all, what even is fiber? Why do we care about fiber? Fiber is a type of nutrient that we get when we eat food, okay, that is not used for energy and it's not stored for fat, okay? So it's a type of nutrient, we get it when we eat certain foods. It's not stored, or it's not used as energy, and it's not stored as fat. Okay, so we know what fiber is now. So why is this important? Why do we want to eat fiber? Why do we want to talk about fiber? So some of you might be maybe smiling right now because people have asked you this in the past, or maybe you know the importance of fiber and maybe one of the #1 reasons why we eat fiber. And that's because it helps keep us regular. Fiber is incredibly important for our digestive systems, okay, and for passing food through our bodies. Secondly, fiber can help improve our heart health by lowering our cholesterol. It can also help us feel full so that we don't overeat. Fiber adds some bulk to the foods that we're eating so that we don't have to eat as much to feel as full, and maybe we're not constantly eating or eating more, which eating a lot can lead to weight gain or other issues. So it helps us feel full. And then also it helps control our blood sugar. So when it comes to sugar and carbohydrates, when it's paired with fiber, it helps with a slow release of those carbohydrates and of that sugar, which can help keep our blood sugars low. All right, so we talked about some of the really cool things that fiber does for our body. It includes, keeping us regular, blood sugar, cholesterol, making us feel fuller for longer and more quickly. So where do we get fiber? If it's so important, we know what it is, how can we get more fiber into our diets? And that is a great question. So we can find fiber in plant foods, all right, plant foods. So when I talk about plant foods, I'm talking about whole grains, nuts and seeds, and fruits and vegetables, okay? So we can get fiber from whole grains, nuts and seeds, and fruits and vegetables. All right, we're gonna pause there. We've talked about fiber, we've talked about the importance of it, we know what it is. Now let's get into the recipe. However, now that we've talked about fiber, when I go through the ingredients in this recipe, I'm asking you to think about which ingredients you think have fiber in them. With a hint, we're talking about plant foods, right? So keep an ear out for those plant foods and I'll let you know if they have fiber in them or not. All right, so we'll get started. Our first ingredient in our tasty lentil tacos is 1 tablespoon of cooking oil, okay? So I have cooking oil here. It is a vegetable oil, just a basic canola oil, and it is vegetable based. However, this doesn't have fiber in it, okay? This is purely a cooking oil. It's gonna add a lot of flavor. It's gonna help us cook the items that we're putting into our tasty lentil tacos. So I'm gonna start by putting our 1 tablespoon of oil into my heated pan here. All right, put my lid right there. The second ingredient that we have is our taco seasoning and our garlic powder, okay? So here I have taco seasoning. Taco seasoning it can come in a big container. It also, you can make your own taco seasoning. It's basically a mix of cumin, paprika, maybe some chili flakes, maybe some dried onion, salt. And then garlic powder too, which we've added a little bit extra. So here I have my taco seasoning and 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. I'm gonna go ahead and add that to my oil. I'm going to stir that up a little bit. That's getting some heat on it. Thirdly, we have some diced onion. This is 1 medium diced onion. It is a white onion. Now, when it comes to onions in this recipe, you could use a white onion, you could use a red onion, you could use a yellow onion. If you have a shallot, go ahead. Really, it's flexible and use any type of onion. Now, this is going to add a lot of flavor once we saute this. However, if you're thinking, hey, that's a plant food and that has fiber in it, you're exactly right. This is our first plant food of the recipe and it definitely has some fiber in it. So again, another fiber-filled little item for our recipe. We're gonna go ahead and add our diced onion to the pot, stir that up so it's coated in the onion and in the spices. Now we want this to saute so that the onions cook until they're nice and clear, translucent. So I'm gonna let that sit after I've stirred it up. They're all coated. I have it on a medium heat. I'll even bring it down a little bit so we don't burn our onions or nothing sticks. Okay, we'll pause there. All right, while those are cooking, let's go through the rest of our ingredients. And remember, we're thinking about whether or not these items have fiber in them. So our next ingredient that will be going into our pot is 1 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. This is just a regular tomato sauce, nothing added, just pureed tomatoes. And if you've guessed it, yes, it does have fiber in it because it is a plant food, okay? It's delicious, it's gonna add a lot of flavor and color to our dish. Our next item, which honestly is the star of the show, are lentils. We have one cup here of dried green lentils. I want you to get a good look at that, dried green lentils. Now, lentils are in the bean family, they're in the legume family, so they're related to beans. And honestly, they're much like a little dried bean. They're shelf stable. When cooked, they taste a similar texture to a bean, except they're just a little bit smaller. And they add a really great flavor to our lentil tacos. And then, as you probably guessed it, they add a lot of fiber. Just like beans, they are a plant food, and lentils are packed with fiber. So it'll help us, stay regular and feel fuller for longer while also being really delicious. I'd also like to add about lentils. They come in a variety of different colors. So those I just showed you are green lentils. These are red lentils. There's also yellow lentils. And there's just a lot of variety when it comes to lentils. So they're a fun thing to pick up at the grocery store and then keep in your pantry because they're pantry stable, and then use them for a recipe like this later on. As said too, if you don't have lentils, you can use different types of beans. You could use canned beans, you could use dry beans, very similar in this recipe and easily exchangeable. All right, our last ingredient, we're going to add 3 cups of water to our lentils. Lentils take about 30 minutes to cook on a simmer. And so 3 cups of water will help those lentils absorb all of that water and become nice and tender so that they taste delicious in our tacos. I'm gonna check on our onions. All right, they look great. I wish you could smell this, it smells delicious. All right, so next I'm going to add our tomato sauce. Add that right to the pot. Okay, right now it's on low heat. The next thing I'm going to add are my 3 cups of water. Okay, there's 2 cups, 3rd cup. Great. I'm gonna stir that a little bit. Now I'm going to add my 1 cup of dried lentils. Boom. Stir that. All right, I will put, actually I'm gonna leave the lid off. I'm gonna turn the heat up a little bit. Turn that up to 3. Now, we're gonna wait for those lentils to come to a boil. We don't want it to be too high of a boil because we don't want them to overcook, and we also don't wanna lose the moisture. But once they come to a boil, I'm going to put the lid on the pot and I'm gonna turn it down to a simmer, and then we'll set our timer for 30 minutes, okay? But while we're waiting for that to come to a boil, let's talk about the other ingredients we have here. And again, we're thinking about whether or not they have fiber in them. Okay, so the first ingredient that I have over here is right here actually. And this is our corn tortilla. Okay, so this is going to be the vehicle that we put our delicious lentils in and then some of our toppings in so that we can eat it. Corn tortillas, you know, the key word here is corn. It is a plant food, so this does have fiber in it. If you were looking for other grain foods or other types of tortillas to put your tacos in, you could use a whole grain option, and that would add even more fiber to it. But we're using corn tortillas. What I like to do, as the recipe notes, is I like to warm up those corn tortillas so that they're a little more tender and they're a little more tasty when we add, and we're eating them when we add our lentils to them. So what I like to do is I like to dampen a towel. I like to wrap the tortillas in the towel, place it in a glass container, and stick it in the microwave for about 30 seconds. You can do this, it's nice and easy. It gives them a lot of really nice moisture. You could also do this, as the recipe notes, on a skillet with a little bit of oil, heat it up, do both sides, put it in put it in a container with a towel, and then keep them nice and warm for when you're ready to eat your tacos. All right, now on to the toppings. Now the toppings are some of my favorite parts because toppings are beautiful. Look at all these colors. And then also, this is a great opportunity to get the whole family involved, right? So some people might like certain toppings on their food. Some kids like, you know, maybe onions, maybe they don't like the onions, maybe they like the cheese. But it's a good opportunity to encourage family members to participate by chopping up the different items or maybe shredding the cheese or dicing the onions so that they have what they want on their taco. All right, so our first topping that we have here is just a basic salsa. This salsa is mild salsa. You know, I bought it at the store, and it has some chipotle seasoning, it has some corn. You could also, since it's tomato season, maybe make a little pico de gallo, some fresh salsa. We also have here fresh shredded lettuce that's been washed. Lettuce is beautiful. It adds, I almost forgot, this is a plant food too. So this is going to add a lot of fiber, okay, this salsa. Also, this fresh lettuce, also a plant food, it's going to add even more fiber. It's beautiful. It's going to add a lot of texture and flavor to our dish. Moving on, we have red onion, okay? So we've already added onion to our lentils, but this red onion is great to put on top because it adds a lot of color, adds a nice crunch, adds a lot of flavor. We also have here some cilantro. Now cilantro is not only really pretty, but it has this nice fresh flavor to it. Again, a plant food, so it's going to add more fiber to our dish. Okay, so that's a great topping. We also have some low-fat cheddar cheese. This is a great option too. It is low-fat, so it is dairy food, meaning it is not actually going to have any fiber in it because it's not a plant food, but this is a great food to add on top of your tacos. Add a little flavor. Lastly, we have our lime. Now, lime is a plant food, but you're just going to squeeze the juice over top typically, so it's not actually going to add any fiber, but it's going to add a great tang, some great flavor, and it's a really delicious way to add some more flavor, low sodium too, to your tacos. All right, so I have here our limes, we have all of our toppings. It looks like our lentils are coming to a boil, so I'm going to put the lid on the lentils. I'm going to set my timer to 30 minutes. Excellent. Okay. But in true cooking show fashion, I have already made these lentils and I'm not going to make you sit here for 30 minutes. So we're going to do a switch. We're going to turn this off. I'll be right back. And look, woo, our lentils are nice and complete. They are tender. They've really taken on a darker color, if you can see that. I'm going to try and lift it up so you can see it. Our onions are completely cooked. The tomato sauce has absorbed. The taco seasoning is throughout the entire dish. Okay, so I'm going to put that right there. I wish you could be here to smell this. It smells absolutely delicious. And I'd like to show you this finished product. So here is what your lentil tacos could look like. We have here 3 lentil tacos. They have the lentils on the bottom. We've got our warm corn tortillas. We have our onions. We have our lettuce. It's just a really beautiful presentation and a really tasty dish that's packed with fiber. So I know all of you have been listening to the different items that have fiber in them, and that this is just a great dish that you can make that is going to not only add a lot of flavor, a lot of texture, a new shelf-stable, easy meal on a weeknight or maybe on the weekends, but all of that fiber is also going to help keep us regular. It's going to help improve our health by maybe lowering our cholesterol. It's also going to help us feel fuller for longer, so we don't feel like we need to snack or eat foods maybe that'll lead to weight gain or things that we don't want to eat, right? It's going to help us feel full and ready to go. And it's also going to help with blood sugar because it's going to help slowly release carbohydrates, and it's going to just make us feel a lot better overall. All right, so if you're looking for fiber, plant foods, thank you so much for coming to this Facebook Live, and happy cooking, and I hope you continue to get a lot of fiber in your diet. Thank you so much. Hope you have a great day.